What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Cris
And Mal.
podcast, episode 139, Big Energy Monday. Happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody out there. It's a great day today. We got a lot of things to speak on. I hope everybody's having a good day, whether you're at work, you're at home, whatever you're doing, you're taking your time to listen to us on this Martin Luther King Day. We appreciate it. Like I said, we got a lot of things to discuss. College football game today. The divisional round playoffs happen in the NFL, and we got other things to get into. Before I do that, Maul, what is going on, brother?
Not much, man. I'm here chilling, feeling good. How you feeling?
I'm great, man. How was your days off, man, or your day off? What's up today?
It was cool, man. Pretty relaxing. Watched some football. Watched my Lakers lose again. You know,
They lost to the Clippers.
they lost to the Clippers. So yeah, man, feeling good. You know what I mean? Obviously, as a Raider fan, anticipating some head coaching news. Hopefully, things start heating up. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right, brother. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off, man. Let's talk about this national championship game, man. It's a big one today. We got Notre Dame versus Ohio State in Atlanta, Georgia, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. How you feeling, man? How you feeling? I know we picked Notre Dame in the beginning of our brackets, but things can change. We allow you to switch it up if you want to. How are you feeling about this game? What are your thoughts? Before we make our initial picks, what are your thoughts going into this game?
Man, overall, man, I'm anticipating this to be a really physical game. I think this is really gonna come down to whose lines perform the best. Obviously on the Notre Dame side, they got to find a way to control Jeremiah Smith. I think he's one of the big keys for them to keep this game close. If Jeremiah Smith is going off, then Ohio State will probably win in a blowout style. But I think that should be definitely one of the keys. I'm also seeing how healthy Love is, the running back from Notre Dame. If he's a lot healthier than he was this last week, his last game, then I do like their chances as well. But we all know it really comes down to the quarterback play. Which quarterback is really going to outperform which one? You know what I mean? I view both of these guys kind of like on the same tier with Will Howard and Riley Leonard. Obviously, Will Howard has probably shown a little bit more as far as like arm talent than Riley Leonard has. Even though we saw little glimpses here and there in the Orange Bowl against Penn State. You know what I mean? He had to make a couple big key throws for them to be able to win that game. So,
Mm-hmm.
we see the capabilities of that. I think both defenses are really good. I think both defenses could definitely step up. Obviously, the task for Notre Dame is a little bit more steep because of the talent that's on that offensive side of Ohio State. We all can both agree that that side is probably more talented. Probably might be the most talented group on both sides of the field when you really look at it. So, and then obviously with that head coach battle, Ryan Day and Marcus Freeman, man, they're both respectable head coaches. I you know me, I'm a root for Marcus Freeman. Like in Martin Luther King Day, that's not going to change, especially on a day like today. But all jokes aside, man, those guys are both respectable head coaches, man. That did a lot for their teams to get to this point. So I'm expecting a good game. I really hope we get a good game at the end of the day. I don't want this to be a blowout on either side, no matter who I choose. But hopefully we can get a really good game coming down to the wire, and we all can enjoy a great night to cap off a great week into football.
Yeah, man. Look, Notre Dame has to make this a ugly game. They gotta make it smash mouth, get physical. Like you said, line of scrimmage is gonna be everything. Can Love and can the running backs can they get off on Notre Dame to make it easier for Riley Leonard to make easier throws to where he can get a second and third, a third and one. If they're operating at a 4th and 10, this defensive line, Ohio State can pin their ears back and get after Riley Leonard. So and then on the defensive side, the defensive line has to get after Will Howard, and he got to force him into some interceptions because we saw that in the Texas game. He made some bad throws. He made he threw some picks, and you can force Will Howard into throwing some picks. So you definitely have to get after Will Howard and make him skittish in the pocket. So, and you cannot let those running backs get off. You can't let Henderson and what's the other dude name? I forgot the other dude name, but you can't let those running backs get off. And then, like you said, Jeremiah Smith, you're gonna have to do the same thing Texas did last week, where you got a bracket coverage on his side. You just gotta live with the other receivers. That's the, that's at the end of the day, that's what you got to do. So this game's gonna have to be smash mouth in the fourth quarter. Um, it's a one score game. Notre Dame has a chance to win this game, but if it gets ugly early, blowout.
Yeah,
Jeremiah Smith is getting off. Was Mika Buke is getting off. If the running backs are getting off, and if Sawyer and the other linemen are getting off, then it's gonna be a long day for Notre Dame. So they gotta make it smash mouth. They gotta make it ugly for sure.
yeah, for sure.
So what you looking at? What's your pick?
I'm gonna stick with Notre Dame, man. I'm gonna hold out faith. I'm gonna hold out with this team. They haven't done anything to make me defer. As far as like them not playing well, I think they played really well against Penn State. Um, Obviously, Ohio State is a juggernaut, especially on that offensive side of the ball. Um, but we have seen Ohio State falter before. We have seen Ohio State play down to a level of competition. Not comparing Notre Dame to Michigan, but we have seen that before. And obviously, we got to also attest that Ohio State's track to the national championship was really tough. So, you know what I mean. Obviously, that could take a lot out of you. But I'm gonna roll with Notre Dame, and I'm gonna trust Marcus Freeman. I think he's gonna make the right decisions as far as like on the field. He's going to have those guys ready to perform. I know Notre Dame has been ridiculed for a lot of years from not being on the standard that a lot of people would want them to be, especially on the standards of Ohio State, Alabama, and Georgia. We've seen how most of the time they get blown out. You know what I mean? The last national championship, the game that they were in, we turned that shit off by the end of the second quarter. So I do not expect that. I do expect them to play a really inspiring game, and I think they'll squeeze one out. And I agree with you. I think they're going to make it ugly. I think they're going to capitalize on some turnovers, and I think we're going to see a key defensive play where whether it's a pick or a fumble recovery on the Ohio State side of the field that gets them short field advantage, and they score a touchdown, and I can see them winning by 3. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 28. I'm gonna go 28-25 Notre Dame.
I'm with you, man. I'm rolling with Notre Dame on this one. I think Notre Dame wins this game in a tight one. I do think that, like you said, I think they force Ohio State. I think Will Howard has a costly interception, maybe even a pick six, and gives Notre Dame a late lead where they hold on to it with their defense. And yeah, man, I'm going. I think Love has a good game in this game. I think Riley Leonard makes the throws that he needs to make on, like I said, third and short. You know what I'm saying? Third and five. I think he makes a few throws, and I got Notre Dame winning. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 27-24 Notre Dame. Yeah, I'm gonna go 27-24. So, shout out to both teams. They both deserve to be here, and whoever wins, man, hey, man, you definitely deserve this
No,
win.
for
And
sure.
like I said, we just hope it's a good game overall. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And yeah, man. All right, man. Chandler Parson had some Kobe rankings. You want to lead this off, sir?
So I don't know if anybody's familiar. Chandler Parsons, he used to be in the league, used to play for the Rockets and other teams. He's obviously, part of a podcast with Michelle Beadle and Lou Will. And he's made some comments about Kobe's rankings and stuff like that. So I believe it was like sometime last week I came across it where he was pretty much saying that he had the likes of like Nikola Jokic ahead of Kobe. He had KD ahead of Kobe. He had Steph Curry ahead of Kobe. Pretty much putting him further and further away from greatest of all time achievements. I just kind of want to get your thoughts. Do you agree with Chandler Parsons? Do you think a lot of these cats, he even says a couple of these cats in the league right now are better than Kobe Bryant? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And where would you put Kobe in your rankings?
Um, I've always had Kobe probably at number three on my rankings. Um, it's like three and four. I
Mhm.
always go back and forth between him and Magic at that third spot. Of course, I got Jordan number one. I go LeBron number two because he's been in the league. The things he's doing at 40 and where he's at in his career is just uncanny. But I've always respected Kobe. I make no bones about it. Rest in peace to that brother. But I was never the big Kobe fan. But I always respected his game. I knew the dude was great. I'm not gonna sit there and act like he's not great.
Yeah.
He was great when y'all won the three championships with Shaq, and y'all were great when in the second iteration with Paul Gasol and them. So um, I'm never gonna diminish what he contributes to the game, and I can't put none of these young cats. I can't put Steph in front of Kobe. I'm sorry. I respect Steph. He's the new generation, probably GOAT to them. You know what I'm saying? Because of what he brought to the game. He changed the game. Ultimately, with the 3-point shot being the most potent thing in the game right now, and everybody wants to do a 3-point shot, but nobody can do it like him. Like he's the greatest 3-point shooter of all times. Um, but I can't put him in front of him. Um, I love Tim Duncan. I think Tim Duncan is great, but I'm not putting Tim Duncan over Kobe. I'm just not. You know what I'm saying? I think Kobe's impact to the game is way bigger than Tim Duncan. So, um, and that's no disrespect to Tim Duncan, but yeah, I can't agree with Chandler Parker. I don't know what he's talking about. I gotta I got Kobe like three or four on my on the all time top five list. Like I said, I got Michael Jordan, I got LeBron, and I can I go back and forth sometimes with Magic or Kobe, but I'll probably put Kobe and then Magic.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Obviously, I'm gonna disagree. I think these are idiotic comments. I think it's damn near disrespectful. Like I get it, everybody's gonna have their opinion on rankings, but we got to stop sullying Kobe's name. Ever since he's passed, the further and further we get away from his passing, it seems like people are kind of sullying his name more and more because he's not here to defend himself. Um, but at the end of the day, we see the track record that Kobe has had. I mean, we saw the first iteration and the second iteration. We saw Kobe as a rookie go from shooting the air ball to being a key player, and the reason why Shaquille O'Neal won his first couple championships. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't forget that moment when Shaquille O'Neal fouled out the game, and Kobe took over that Pacers game that really solidified them winning that series. We can't forget that. We can't forget all those times that he did those big 40-point games when he was going through his court proceedings, and it didn't falter his performance. He actually played even better when he was in circumstances like that. We can't forget the instances where he won two more championships with the likes of a Pau Gasol, with the likes of a Andrew Bynum, who was on a bum knee, a Sasha Vujacic, a Lamar Odom, whose career was kind of winding down at that time, Ron Artest, who was going through his issues in the NBA, coming off that Pacers incident in the Palace, and him not performing up to standards at that time. He just got traded to us, and he wasn't performing on that team. He got traded from before he even got there. I mean, there was a lot of questions with that. Derek Fisher, he's not a top point guard, but he won with these cats going up against the likes of the Orlando Magic with Dwight Howard and some of the numbers that he put up, going up against Tim Duncan. Like, I love Tim Duncan. I think Tim Duncan is one of the best power forwards in the game. But let's not attest that he wasn't given the most perfect situation for any player of all time. His first year was with David Robinson, and they won the finals in a shortened year against the New York Knicks. Let's not count he had Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard when he got drafted. He had one of the greatest coaches of all time, and that's not to take anything away from what he's accomplished, because obviously you still have to play the game. But he was in a perfect situation where he never had to really build something from a terrible situation to the ground up. Kobe had to do that, and you could all say that, he came in with Shaq, but we can all attest Shaq wasn't winning anything until he got Kobe. Like, he had the opportunity with Penny that one time, but they lost to the Houston Rockets in an embarrassing fashion. And then on top of that, we saw the growth of Kobe Bryant. We saw the immaturity to the maturity, him becoming a snobbish superstar to a family man, promoting the WNBA in that game. We saw the capabilities he had of as far as his production and winning Oscars and all that type of stuff like that. So and I get it, that's off the court, but it's a totality of who Kobe was. You know what I mean? He never stopped progressing. He never stopped becoming great, even at his older age, even before the Achilles tendon injury. Man, he was still performing at a high elite level. So if it
Mhm.
wasn't for that, he could have still been playing. So I just think it's downright disrespectful. Now, me personally, I'm gonna have Kobe number two. I'm gonna have him over Braun for my own personal reasons and my perceptions on what LeBron has done and how he's been carried in a lot of situations. Not to disrespect what LeBron has done. We all know he's one of the greatest of all time, and it's no disrespect for you being one, two, or three. That's still elite company for a
Mhm.
league that's seen not millions, but hundreds of great players that have come through this league. So yeah, I have LeBron three, but at the end of the day, like I just think the disrespect as a whole, like for Kobe, just has to stop, man. And for a person like Chandler Parsons to be speaking and some of the idiotic things he said before, like there's certain people where they just need to stop talking. And these are the same athletes who be trying to tell us to shut up because we never played the sport. But in reality, we give better takes than you because a lot of the shit y'all be saying sounds idiotic and damn near buffoonery. And it's okay if you have personal issues with Kobe, but get that shit out of what we know his career was meant to be, and the fabric that he installed into this league and carrying it. Number one, and we see future players, i.e., Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum's, and other players who took something from Kobe and Michael Jordan and even LeBron too. So we just got to put a proper perspective in these each gentleman's career, especially Kobe. We can't do that. We got to stop that. We got to stop this. It's getting out of hand.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you, man. I don't know where this discourse came from with you know talking about Kobe like this. You hear other players have talked about Kobe and they've looked up to Kobe, from the Kyrie Irvings to
Yeah,
various other players. They look up. You hear Shaq. He talks about Kobe, and every time somebody talks about a top five list, he's like, "Where's my guy Kobe at?" So, and then you hear the stories about Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost similar to how they talked about Jordan.
yeah,
How he was an assassin on that court, man, and he didn't care. You know what I'm saying? All he wanted to do was play the best competition and show that he is the best. Since he was young, you hear with Kevin Garnett when he said he wasn't even in the league yet, and he was sitting at his he was sitting in his seat, and he was just like, man, how's the league, man? How is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how intrigued and how much he loved the league, and even how he went at Jordan, how he looked at Jordan. Like, most people was like, oh, that's Black Jesus. He's like, Black Jesus, like, this is a regular man to me. Like, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, he didn't look at Jordan the same way. Now they end up building a big brother little brother type of relationship, because I think Jordan respected that about Kobe. Like, this little dude don't look at me like of course he looked at him internally. He looked at Jordan like that because he'll tell you, man, that's Michael Jordan, like, the greatest of all time. He always talked about Jordan like that.
mm-hmm.
But he didn't display it on the court. He went at Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Most dudes, not to say guys didn't go at Jordan, but he really went at Jordan. He looked at it as an opportunity. And any great player that was on that court, he looked at it as an opportunity to show that I'm the best in this league, and I'm striving for greatness. So, and there's one thing you could say outside. LeBron, he had kind of was a more passive type of player. He would, they always argue about his killer instinct. He really didn't have that, like a Michael Jordan, like a Kobe. And I could get the argument of putting Kobe over LeBron. I can get it, you know what I'm saying, because he didn't have that. And plus, him, not to say that Kobe didn't have Shaq, but at the end of the day, LeBron did have Dwayne Wade. He did have Chris Bosh. He did go back to Cleveland and build a team over there. He did go with the Lakers and get Anthony Davis, and so it's not like he didn't have help. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but definitely got to put more respect on Kobe's name.
Nah, for real, and we cannot forget. Like we all saw the second variation of the Dream Team when they had to literally call Kobe Bryant to come save the Team USA to win a
Hmm.
championship.
Mhm.
to win that World Cup. We saw the impact that he had. We saw the video of how LeBron James and some of the other guys that were on that team, when he talked about running through Pau Gasol's chest. That was your teammate. That's your dog. That's like your brother. You know what I mean? And like he's the embodiment of what a lot of people have been complaining about. What's been missing in the NBA. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That competitive nature of just like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I do respect you, but on this court, man, I'm trying to kill you. I'm trying to take everything that you're worth. I'm trying to like if I can embarrass you, I'm trying to do that. You know, you got a lot of these young cats that want to be kumbaya and
Mhm.
they don't have that killer instinct. You see some cats like you see that with Anthony Edwards and some of these other cats that they don't care. Like at the end of the day, yeah, we cool. Like I don't personally like hate you or anything like that. But as long as this season's going on, we ain't boys. We ain't nothing, and there's nothing I want. And there's another player that's like that, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's the same type of player. He don't want to train with you. He don't want nothing. He wants to beat you straight up. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. That was kind of been my problem with LeBron. And then honestly, Kobe and Michael Jordan have been getting low key disrespected, these last couple years more and more, and
Mhm.
it's getting crazy to me because these same people that are criticizing these two players. As I said, you guys are the same people that are complaining about these two are the same people that have been complaining about, oh, we don't have that competitive nature no more in the NBA. We don't have this. We don't have that killer instinct. We don't have guys that want it. And yet you sitting here disrespecting the two greatest of all time. And it's just mind-boggling to me. And that conversation just needs to get remapped into a way where it's just like, I get it. Everybody's gonna have their personal perceptions. Like people are gonna
Mhm.
disagree with me with having Kobe of Bron. That's cool. That's cool. I got no problem with that. Like I get it. Like when you look at the embodiment of what LeBron has meant and just the longevity of LeBron, that's cool. I understand that. Now, can I pick and prod through his career and why I think he's not number two? Yes, I can. But if you strongly believe LeBron's number two, or hell, if you even think he's number one, that's cool. Like it's great. I've always said the NBA and the conversations of the NBA is, I think, some of the greatest of all time as far as like debating wise. And it will always be here, but just the outright disrespect for some of these players, just y'all gotta chill. Y'all got to even like cats like Magic Johnson who don't get talked about that much. Kareem, Wilt. You know what I mean? A lot of those guys don't get mentioned as far as like being the number one great. Like Kareem could easily be considered the greatest of all time. Magic Johnson can easily be considered one
I
of the
know.
greatest
I
of all.
know. There's guys that's more Magic fans than there are Michael
Yeah,
Jordan
Larry Bird, you know what I mean? There's a lot of cats
fans.
that really get truly, disrespected too, you know what I mean? And they all had a specific place in this league, you know what I mean? So, it comes with the territory, I guess, when newer cats are getting involved in the league. And as the great who said that? I think it was Michael Irvin. You know, what I mean, we start losing the recipes. We start losing the fabric of what some of these leagues have been built on. You know what I mean? Even in the NFL, you kind of see that. You know what I mean? Where cats get thrown to the wayside because people tend to forget who they were back in the day and how talented they were. You know what I mean? How special they were. So I get it. It's all good that we see these new cars on the field and on the court. You know what I mean? With the Justin Jeffersons and what I mean, the Patrick Mahomes, the Jaden Daniels, and Steph Curry's and all that. But we can't forget the Steve Youngs. We can't forget the Jerry Rices and Bo Jacksons and the Michael Jordans and the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars and the Walt Frazers and I mean, we can't forget about those cats. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with the WNBA. The conversations that we have with Caitlin Clark. Yes, we respect that Caitlin Clark is a hell of a talent, but we can't forget the Cheryl Swoops, the Cynthia Cooper was the best player in the league for like 3 years straight. You know what I mean? They were dominant. That Houston Comets team was amazing. The Teresa Weatherspoons, the Lisa Leslies, Candace Parker, who won Rookie of the Year and Finals MVP the same year. Like we can't forget
Maya Moore is probably
Maya
the greatest of
Moore.
all time. Like, what
You
are
know
we
what I
talking
mean?
about
We
here?
we can't forget the foundation of what these leagues were built upon. And without these cats, there ain't no Justin Jefferson. There ain't no Kayla Clark. There is no Steph Curry. There's no Anthony Edwards. There's no Jason Tatum's. And we got to remember that. And it's cool to have these conversations, but some of the disrespect where it's just like, bruh, you're tripping now. Because some of these players that you're naming don't even need to belong in the same. And that's no disrespect for Kevin Durant. But Kevin Durant is nowhere near being considered the greatest player of all time. Kobe Bryant has been considered the greatest player of all time in a lot of people's eyes. He's been comparable to Michael Jordan. And the only excuse that people say that they don't want to put Kobe Bryant in that list is because, oh, their games are too similar. So the fuck what? Who gives a fuck? A lot of people's games are very similar to other players. LeBron took some shit from Bron and Kobe and Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade took some shit from other players and Steph. Obviously there are a couple players where it's just like they're very unique to who they are, but like Steph took some shit from Reggie Miller. Like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Running through screens and staying active as far as like picking his spots on where to be and shooting on the floor. Now, obviously, he developed into being the greatest shooter of all time, but every single player has taken something from a player of the past that has made them be, and they just enhanced it and turned it into something even better than what it was, and that's the involvement of every sports league. But the
Yeah.
disrespect has to stop.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, man. Let's talk a little NFL. There are rumblings of your team getting Ben Johnson. I know Aaron Glenn had a second interview with the Jets. I think he's supposed to have an interview with the Saints too. There are rumblings about Cliff Kingsbury possibly getting some interviews. Um, uh, I think not Bobby Slow, but the OC for Tampa Bay. Um, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on your team? Do you think it's inevitable that they'll be announcing Ben Johnson soon?
No, I don't think it's inevitable. Obviously, recent reports, Justina Anderson just put out that people, league sources in the league, that Ben Johnson is strongly considering the Bears job. You know what I mean, and other reporters. Obviously, I've talked about it a little bit last week of just like the media hate for the Raiders, and kind of just the rambunctiousness of people's kind of like just the idea of Ben Johnson choosing the Raiders over the Bears. And it's like with certain Bears fans, it's like, okay, I get it. You got Caleb Williams, who everybody suspects to be a great quarterback. He hasn't shown it yet. Like we've seen little glimpses here and there, but it's not a guarantee that he's going to be this all-time great Jaden Daniels style player that we saw with him. But like at the end of the day, you guys have been way more dysfunctional than us. You know what I mean? And then that conversation of like, oh, the Raiders are in a tough division. Well, motherfuckers, so are y'all. Y'all got the Green Bay Packers, who are young and up and coming, pretty much missing one receiver. You got the Minnesota Vikings with, we all know that team is deeply talented, and we got to see what they're going to do with Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy. And you still got Detroit Lions. Now, yes, they are probably going to lose both of their coordinators, but that's still a talented team. I'm sure they probably have some guys that are within that organization that are ready to move up, or they can find the other coordinators to come in and be able to make that team great again, because the talent is there. But honestly, it's just kind of wait and see. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, with the reports that I'm seeing that it's going to be a Ben Johnson, or the report from Justina Anderson that he's strongly considering the Bears, so he's going to the Bears. Like, it may feel like that to a degree, but at the end of the day, no decision has been made. And then honestly, Ben Johnson, he hasn't made a decision yet, so he's probably going to strongly consider every option that's on the table for him. So I don't know where it's going to go. Obviously, the reports are saying that these decisions are going to come down quick, and that Adam Schefter kind of expects decisions from Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn to come by no later than Wednesday, I'm assuming. But and then once that happens, then we'll start seeing where the dominoes are. The funny thing is, the Cowboys are just kind of like in their own little world right now, and we don't have no idea what's going on. But I really hope that we do get Ben Johnson. If we don't get Ben Johnson, I think it'll be kind of really deflating for the Raiders. I don't care who it is, whether it's Pete Carroll. If Pete Carroll comes in, yeah, he's a respectable head coach, but at the end of the day, he is getting older. Then there's going to have to be some kind of succession plan for him, because we don't know how much longer Pete Carroll is going to be a part of football. And it's just that idea doesn't really sit well for me. But again, there's only so many options out there. You know what I mean? So I really hope it's Ben Johnson, because for the Raider Nation's sake, I think it would be really deflating, and it'd be kind of hard. It'll just be hard to be excited for the next year or the future of the Raiders, because it's just another blow for this organization. And I get it. Our perception is slowly changing with Tom Brady, and obviously we can't expect him to turn this into like a pot of gold in the span of a year. But it just would. I ain't gonna lie, it would be really deflating for me, and I think that would just really take the whole excitement away. And then obviously, seeing Jalen Carter, I know we're gonna talk about it, but seeing Jalen Carter perform just really pissed me off too, because it's just another player we could have had. But that's just kind of my whole overall feel.
Well, I'm hearing they said that he's leaving. You already told them they leaving. He's
No, I
leaving.
know he's leaving. It's just where is he going?
No, I was answering Mark what he said.
uh,
He was saying with Ben Johnson changed his mind again and said run it
Oh
back.
yeah, nah.
And
He's yeah, he said he gone.
I think after he saw what golf did, he like, all right, I'm out.
But then again, like it's just like even with coordinators, I get you want to find the right um organization to be a part of, but that shit will fly you by, man. You know what I mean? All it takes is one bad year for people to like, maybe he's not the guy. You know what I mean? You even started hearing that a little bit after the Detroit game. Like people are
Yeah.
like, is Aaron Glenn the guy? His defense can't stop, the Commanders. And Ben Johnson, that play call with Jamison Williams throwing that dumbass ball. Like, you know how that goes. So.
Well, like we said, Mark, there are rumblings that they're looking at him too, that he could possibly. I'm hearing Dallas Cowboys are wanting to bring him in. If I'm Washington, I'd say no, but
If I'm Kingsbury, I say no. Like
yeah,
if you're Kingsbury, why don't you just take the Caleb? If you're gonna interview for jobs, just tell Chicago I'll take the job.
hmm
Caleb would want him. You know what I mean? I know people are clamoring for Ben Johnson, but I think Kingsbury's probably on the same level. Like, yeah, Kingsbury, like again with Ben Johnson, like mind wise, he's great. But do we know if he's going to be a great head coach? We really don't know. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Just kind of going based off what we've seen on the field. Like we think offensively he'll be great, but can he control every aspect of an organization? I think that's the biggest thing with Ben Johnson right now. He's going to be met with high expectations no matter where he goes, whether it's the Raiders, Jags, or Bears. A fan base they're going to expect high, some great stuff from him. And if he doesn't perform, it's going to set that franchise back. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be paying him 6 years, 5-6 years, almost $100 million. You know what I mean? That's what's going to come down to. So those numbers are really out. So whether it's Chicago or my team or the Jags, you better hope he's the guy. You better hope he can be the guy that could be the next future star as far as like within the coaching ranks. Because if he's not, you're back to square one. You're back to square one, and you're probably going to fire him before that contract is over, and then you're going to be stuck as the Raiders are paying another coach, looking for another head coach, and it's just going to be a perpetual winding circle of dismay.
yeah, for sure. All right, man. Let's do our bet U.S. surefire picks, man.
Ben Johnson got hired by the Bears. It's
He
official.
did.
Yeah, Tom
Oh,
Pelissero just broke it.
okay. Well,
Here
he's
you
going
go.
against his former team.
So congratulations, Bears fans. You got your wish. Raiders, I don't know where you go from here, my brother. It's another deflating year. Probably gonna be Pete Carroll. So hey, man, good luck. Twice a year.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Mike McCarthy.
I'm gonna be honest with you, my brother. As a Raiders fan, I just don't even care no more. It's just gonna be another miserable year. So, so
No,
those two games. So those two games we won for. So hey, AP, those two games we won trying to save your funky ass job just cost us a top pick of getting in quarterback, and now, as I said, a top tier coach that we think he could be top tier. As I said, we don't know. We don't know for a fact, but. What I mean? We're just stuck. So now we're going to be stuck with
I knew
some.
he was gonna be the first domino to drop, though. I knew it. I
No,
knew
no, we
that.
all knew Ben Johnson was going to be first domino drop, but hey,
Now,
and all you Raiders beat reporters, y'all ain't looking too good right now because all y'all said y'all would be surprised if Ben Johnson doesn't take the job. But there you go.
so he chose the quarterback that was already there.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he will be facing his former team twice a year. Interesting.
Yeah, should be man. Yeah, should be interesting.
Marcus Freeman. Do you take Marcus Freeman as your head coach?
Would I take Marcus Freeman? I'll be more happier than Ben. I'll be more happier that than Pete Carroll. But again, why would he? Why would look? I'm sorry I have to do this. I know we're going to bet us surefire picks, but this is breaking news.
Go ahead.
Let's be honest, man. Why would anybody want to take our job right now? Let's be honest. Okay, Tom Brady is cool. Tom Brady's cool. Okay, that's cool. Tom Brady's the name. That's fine. We do have Brock Bowers. We have Max Crosby, who's in and out as far as like whether he wants to stay or go.
He's staying. He ain't going.
No, I know, but it's just the conversation. It just adds more to the drama of it. We have an owner who kind of stays out the way, but doesn't know what he's doing. Where we have a fan base who's pretty much at its last nerve with this franchise, as far as like what I mean, having the patience with that. So that could lend to a lot of pressure. We have no talent as far as like on the defense side. We have cap space, but you're trying to tell me this old 80-year-old man, Pete Carroll, is going to be our savior? Like, nah, I'm good. You telling me Mike McCarthy? Nah, I'm good. Like, would I take Aaron Glenn? I guess I'll be happy with Aaron Glenn, but let's be honest, his defense hasn't really. It's been cool, like what I mean. Hasn't
I
been like
mean, he
outstanding.
did lose a lot of
He did
players.
lose a lot of players, but even before that, it wasn't like the greatest defense in the world. Let's stop acting like it was. It's not like
His,
it was the Spags defense. It wasn't like it was anything like that. Like let's pump the
yeah,
brakes. You're
yeah.
telling me Robert Sala? Okay, what I mean. I guess I'll be a little excited about that because I
What
know
about Cole? What's his name? Cohen. What about Cohen? Liam Cohen.
Liam Cohen. It's kind of like the same with Ben Johnson. Like, yeah, you would like him, but you don't know if he's going to be a legitimate head coach. Obviously, he'd be a lot cheaper than Ben Johnson right now. But as I said, as a Raiders fan, I'm over it, dog. I'm not even excited for drafts. You know what I mean? But it just is what it is at this point. Because you know why I'm not excited for the draft? Because we miss on players every year. We missed out on Jalen Carter, missed on Christian Gonzalez, we missed out on you know what I mean, taking CD Lamb. The list can go on and on how many players we decide not to choose that are literally great players. Like, but I'm supposed to have a belief in this fucking dumbass organization that want to win two dumbass meaningless games that took us out of the number one spot to get us a top tier quarterback that potentially probably took us out of getting a guy like Ben Johnson. Like, I think if we had the number one pick, I think he might have considered us strongly. But like, what are we doing as an organization? Like, this is a joke. Like, and at this point, I'm over it. So at this point, I'm tired of all my teams that I love. I'm tired of the Lakers and I'm tired of the Raiders. So this is what it is. That's my mentality.
I hear you. I hear you, brother. All right, man. What's your picks for today, dog?
So my picks are. So I got Notre Dame +9. Whether win or lose, I think I do expect this to be a close game for Notre Dame. So I'm gonna take the +9. I'm gonna take the Hawks +7.5 against the Knicks today. I think the Hawks have low key kind of had the Knicks number the past couple years with Trae Young, and I like this young team a lot. So I'm gonna take them. Whether win or lose, I do like the points. I'm gonna take the Cavs -8, and then I'm gonna take the Celtics -10.5.
Yeah, both of those games already started. I'm with you with the Notre Dame, and I'll take the under in that game. Um, I like the Celtics -9.5, and and yeah, that's it. I don't really like nothing else today. All right, good people. If you go to any of our social media platforms, you'll see the Bet US link. Click on it. This is for first time users only. You click on it, you sign up, you put the promo code join 125. You get 125% signing bonus plus 10% gambler's insurance because they got other things on the website. Um, that means you get three risk-free bets. What does that mean? So if you bet $100 up to $5,000 is the max. If you bet on your first three bets and you lose, you keep your money. So what better way? You can win some money or you can keep your money. So go to Bet US, sign up, tell them Cris and Mal sent you. And that is our Bet US short fry picks. Mark said, "Gotta get Brian Flores."
Yeah, whatever, man. I don't even care no more.
Poor friend, my buddy over here. He said, "Yo, y'all need Mark cheer up." All right, would you rather Justin Herbert or this? What you got for me,
Oh yeah, yeah. So we all know how the game is played. I'll read you some names. You tell me if you rather have Justin Herbert or that specific player. All right, you ready, sir?
though? Mm-hmm.
All right. Number one, would you rather have Justin Herbert or Brock Purdy?
Justin Herbert.
Okay. Number two, would you rather have Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence?
Justin Herbert.
Even though Trevor Lawrence beat him. in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
yeah, that was Brand. That was more Brandon Staley than Justin Herbert.
You sure about that? Because
That's
what do
right.
we just saw? We saw Justin Herbert do the same bullshit in the
Okay,
playoffs.
but that he was bad, but I'm taking
Okay.
Justin over Trevor
All
Lawrence.
right, all right. Would you rather have Justin Herbert or Drake May?
Slight edge to Justin Herbert
Why?
because he's
Explain.
proven he's still proven more than Drake May. I still gotta see it again. I gotta see it again from Drake May.
For sure. Next up, would you rather have Justin Herbert or Matthew Stafford?
Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
Even though Justin Herbert is younger, but Matthew Stafford.
Okay. Would you rather Justin Herbert or Bo Nix?
Justin Herbert.
You would?
Yeah.
Why?
Bo,
Why you don't like Bo
Bo,
Nix more than Justin
Bo,
Herbert?
Bo had a good season, but I think Justin is more talented.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Next up, would you rather have Justin Herbert or Michael Penix Jr.?
This is difficult. I like what I've seen from Penix, but I need to see it for a full season. So I'm
Okay.
gonna go Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. Okay. Next up, would you rather have Justin Herbert or Baker Mayfield?
Justin Herbert's more talented, but I'm a slight edge Baker Mayfield because he's won bigger games.
Yeah. I trust his mentality too. I agree with you on that. Next up, would you rather have Justin Herbert or CJ Stroud?
So, come on, man, CJ.
Okay, okay. And I know some people have been kind of questioning CJ after this year, but I think we all both know why he had, went through a lot of injuries and that O line's been suspect. All right,
Yeah,
next up, would you rather have Justin Herbert or Jared Goff?
Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
hmm
why? Why him over Jared?
I think he's more talented than Jared. Jared has a cap. Like I don't think. Yes, does he need things in place? But I think if you put Justin Herbert on that Detroit Lions team, I think that game goes a little different.
Yeah, I feel
You
you.
know what I'm saying? Like I think it goes a little. I don't think. I I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit wins that game with Justin Herbert at quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. It's two more. Would you rather have Justin Herbert or Caleb Williams?
Now this is difficult. Mm, this is difficult. I don't know. They kind of wash each other. I'm going to for right now. I'm a slight edge Caleb Williams.
For sure. And last but not least, would you rather have Justin Herbert or Jordan Love?
Jordan Love
Okay. All right. That's all I got.
for sure.
What about Jaden Daniels?
Come on, man. What are we doing? Not even a question. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Yeah.
Uh, did you hear about this new child support law that's going to be passed when Trump takes office?
No, I have not heard about this.
So supposedly the new child support law is that if you are a man and a woman puts you on child support, or maybe it's a woman and she's put on child support because there are women that are on child support too that make more than a man, that you cannot file taxes for that said child.
What's your thoughts? I'll give you my thoughts. What's your thoughts? You have kids. What are your thoughts about this first? I want to
Well,
hear.
I mean, me and my ex don't have that type.
Yeah,
We
but
have,
just I know you don't, but just overall.
but I do think that now, that other person's gonna have to make decisions now, because now you can't file taxes and get whatever money you get from said child.
Hmm.
So you either got to take the child support money that you're gonna get yearly, or you're gonna be like, I play the long game and I'll just take the lump sum money. So
Hmm.
now you're gonna have to sit and negotiate with that other person.
Hmm.
And you're gonna have to ask yourself, is the child support worth it? Or is the lump sum worth it?
Now, do you think this is a fair rule if this were
I,
to pass?
I do.
Why is that?
Um, because I think it kind of gets it's a kind of it's not a black and white question. It's kind of difficult because it's situational. Because like if you got the person on child support because he ain't that person is no good, and he you know what I'm saying he was tight with his money, he couldn't really get nothing for you, so you had to put him on child support or put her on child support. Then that's the difficult thing because then it's like, well, damn, he's gonna benefit for me putting on child support when he doesn't even deserve it because he's not in the child's life. He act like he don't even want to help out with the child. This is the reason why I had to take him to court to put him on child support. So that could be difficult. That's where the unfairness comes in at. So it's kind of it's kind of both sides almost. It's like
Mhm.
gray area ish because there's like I said, there's no black and white with this. It's like you put said person on child support and they're not in the child's life and they're not trying to help to help out and co-parent with this child, whether it be uh, financially and all the other things that come with being a parent. Then it's like why should he benefit or she benefit from not for paying child support and he gets to claim this child to get taxes off. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Now I feel you. So like if I'm understanding this correctly, the person who has to pay the child support doesn't get to claim, or they do get to claim
Yeah, the person who pays the child support, they get to claim the child on
on
get
their
to claim
taxes, but the
on their
person that's
taxes.
receiving the payment doesn't get to.
Doesn't get to no.
I don't know. It's kind of tricky, I guess, in a sense because that it all to me it all depends on the family dynamic of it in a sense because if it's like kind of like a 50-50, what I mean, like handle the situation, but let's say the man just pays, what I mean, the child support just cause, then that is true. Um, it's gonna be a sticky situation because there's gonna be a lot of people that don't approve of this.
Hmm.
Um, the the family court system I think is already jacked up as it is. You know what I
Of
mean?
course.
Like I don't have kids, but I kind of had to go through it with my younger childhood days. You know what I mean? With my biological mother and my father. Having to go through the child court system. Even when my biological mother didn't want me, my dad still had to get put through so much just to try to be able to be like, what I mean, he gets full claim of these kids. So and we all know how it's much harder for the man in these instances in these court proceedings. You know what I mean? There's been plenty of fathers who want to be a part of their child's lives who aren't able to be a part of their
Hmm.
child's lives either due to pettiness or just straight up greed. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
and I've always been a proponent of like, look, if you're going to pay child support, I think it should be on like a debit card system where the court can actually see the payment, or you have to use it for your kid. You can't use it for your pleasures. Like, what I mean? You can't use it for vacations and all that. And the court has to track that. And if they're proven otherwise that you're using those funds for anything else but that child, I think you should be stripping from those benefits of receiving payment. And that should go to, and that person should receive, what I mean, the payment for those kids to help better kids. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Obviously, today's the first day of Trump. I'm curious to see how this goes. I'd
Hmm.
say you would have more of a better insight whether this would be fair or not, because obviously you do have kids. I know you're not going through a situation like this, but you would have a better understanding of it. So um, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, man. If he does pass this, I wonder how much that would affect certain families. You know what I mean? Does that affect the black families more, or Hispanic families more compared to the white families and other Asian families? You know what I mean? Like obviously there's statistics out there that black people you know that migrant families probably have to deal with this a little bit more as far as like stability in the home. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it should be interesting, man. I don't know whether it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, but we will find out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Just wanted to get your thoughts on it, brother.
No, very interesting. I'm sure there's gonna be new laws that get passed that we're gonna have to talk about here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Back to football, man. Jaden Daniels, is he having the best rookie season ever? And where would you rank him now on the QB totem pole? What says you, sir? Do you think he's having the best rookie season ever?
I think you have to kind of say it in a sense of just where he took this team from. Like this team was a laughing stock last year. We saw the inconsistencies with this team. Not even to mention the whole Daniel Snyder portion of this organization's history. And this ain't this the first full year that he hasn't been owner of this team. Is this the first full year or the second year?
Who?
Daniel Snyder being gone. Is this the first full year that he's been gone?
I think so because I think
Yeah,
he gave it up last year, didn't he?
last year. So, you know, the ironic story of this being the first year without Daniel Snyder being part of his organization, they're able to make it to the NFC Championship game against one of their divisional rivals, is an amazing story in its own. And the way Jaden Daniels been playing, like it's not even just him getting to his team there. It's also statistically, I think he's had one of the greatest, rookie QB seasons in a long time, and just for him to be able to take this franchise on his back, and then on top of that, going on the road 2 games in a row and playing lights out football, not turning the ball over. I think it's been amazing. I think you have to consider him having the best rookie season ever. As far as my totem pole, I kind of thought about it with Jaden Daniels, and obviously he's not going to be ahead of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson just yet, but could you potentially see him ahead of Joe Burrow? I think it's a conversation to be had, just based on this year. Just based on this year, obviously we have to see it in a multitude of years, because Joe
Right.
Burrow has shown that, minus the injury history, we know he's consistently been a great quarterback. But if we're
Mhm.
just looking at just this year, you have to consider him being easily in the top 5, maybe even top 4. So I think he's probably around that range for me.
Is he having the best rookie season? He's definitely up there. We all know, um, Dan Marino, he took his team to the Super Bowl his rookie season. So you gotta put some respect on it. Even if we didn't watch it, even then we weren't alive or we weren't able to watch it, he still took his team, took the Dolphins to the Super Bowl. They never went back, but he took him his rookie season. I know Big Ben had a decent season. RG3, who ironically with the same team, took his team to the playoffs. And had he not got hurt, probably in that Seattle game, we might be talking about something different in history. I think Andrew Luck had a great year his rookie season. Um, so there's various others of quarterbacks who've had great rookie seasons. But I'm gonna have to put this up there probably number one because of statistics. What he's doing in this offense and how he has full command of this offense. We've never seen this before, Maul. Not from a rookie.
No.
And for him to do what he's doing in the playoffs on the road, he's not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to go on the road to Tampa Bay and look them dead in their face and say, okay.
He blew out the number 1 seed.
Then go to Detroit, in Detroit, and play better than Jared Goff. Like it was supposed to be reversed. He's supposed to play the game that Jared Goff has had. Jaden Daniels supposed to have that type of game because he's a rookie. He's on the road. He's in a hostile environment in Detroit. Nah, he ain't had that type of game. He looked like he was the more poised quarterback. He looked like he been playing for 10 years and Goff just got there.
And look, let me ask you this. I know we'll talk about this on Wednesday a lot more, but honestly, who are you more confident in on your quarterback position? Are you more confident with Jalen Daniels? Or are you more confident than in Jalen Hurts? Like, I think that's an easy answer at this particular time. Even if Jalen Hurts wasn't even hurt, I would probably still pick Jalen Daniels over Jalen Hurts right now. I don't think
And
it's close.
and let's just be real. He as a rookie and coming in as a rookie, he was better than Lamar Jackson
He was
coming into the league. He's better than Jalen Hurts coming
better
into
than
the league.
Patrick because Patrick
Yeah.
took a couple years for him to develop and get into what
Well,
he was.
yeah, Patrick, he didn't even play his rookie season. So you know what I'm saying? He had to sit.
Yeah,
Um he's better than a lot of the top quarterbacks coming better than Josh Allen
yep.
coming into the league his rookie season. You saw the gamership in Josh Allen, but he wasn't this. He wasn't this at all.
He just looked like
So
he's been in the league for like 4 years already.
yeah, he has. He has. He's definitely proven that. As far as his ranking goes, I'm with you on this season. You could easily say he's a top 5, top 10 quarterback. Um, like you said, we got to see it again because
Mhm.
C.J. Stroud, another guy who had a great rookie season, and he went to the
Different struggles.
division. He went to the divisional round against the Ravens, and he looked like a rookie. And then coming into this season, everybody had okay, the Texans they got Diggs and Tang, and I know those guys went down, but Nico Collins and all that stuff, but we didn't account for. Now they looking at you. Now they got tape on you. Now they know
Mhm.
what you can do good. Oh, by the way, your offensive line ain't what it was your rookie season. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
true,
Like,
true, true.
it's not looking the same. It's a more of a struggle out there when you playing. You know what I'm saying? So, um, we got to see what he looks like next season and then going forward. So, and
Nah,
then when you start losing coordinators too, you know what I'm saying? We see this from teams. We saw it with Josh Allen when he lost Dayball. It took a couple seasons for him to get back to this. This is
mhm.
why people thought Josh Allen then was going to take a step back because
Yeah,
it was like the coordinator. But we see
yeah,
Joe Brady, who, by the way, Joe Brady's getting co-head coaching considerations too.
yeah.
He even had a couple of interviews, so we'll see if when Joe Brady leaves, does that affect Josh Allen? And that makes effects. The thing about Patrick Mahomes is Andy Reid calls the plays, so he's benefited from you. The head coach still, the plan still stays there. It don't matter who the OC is. The plan's still the plan because the main guy who's calling the plays is right there. So he's benefited from that. Whereas in some of these other guys, they got defensive head coaches. They got guys who got OCs who call plays. So it's just kind of like it's hard. Lamar Jackson, he's
Mhm.
had Greg Roman to Todd Monkey. You know what I'm saying? Like that matters in the NFL. It's like who's the OC? Who's calling the plays? Who's putting these guys in position to succeed? So we got to see what again going forward with Jaden Daniels. But this season, I'm not mad at you saying he's a top. I'm not mad if you say he's top five, but definitely top 10 this season.
Yeah.
I'm not mad if you put him over Herbert, Dak Prescott, uh, you name him, Brock Purdy. Like he's definitely gonna be rookie of the year. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So he's
Nah,
definitely
yeah,
gonna be
yeah. Like honestly, I think the Commanders could be in a great spot for a long time. You know, I mean, if they could find a way to better their stadium situation, better their practice field situation, and make that more appeasing. Because obviously, I think that's probably the biggest issue right now with this Commanders franchise. And I think Magic Johnson and that ownership, I think they do recognize that. I think there have been talks about them getting a new stadium, obviously upping
hmm
a lot of the aspects around that team. If they could do that, man, this is going to be a scary. This could be literally be one of the best franchises in the league for a long time. You know what I mean? Especially in that division. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because the Eagles, yeah, on paper they're very excellent. They do have a lot of great pieces on that team, but you got to factor in the Jalen Hurts contract and the capabilities of and can he be stay consistent? Obviously, we've seen the inconsistencies with him. You know, what I mean, there have been obviously the dysfunction amongst the relationship between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts and some of the coaching staff, and I mean, you got the whole thing with the coaching staff, with the coach and Nick Sirianni, and all that. We just don't know emotionally what we're going to get from this team on a week to week basis.
hmm
And you know what I mean? Like imagine if this team were able to trade for like a Tyreek Hill or some, or what I mean, get a T Higgins maybe, or what I mean, up that defensive side. If they can, what I mean, I said, I hate to keep bringing my Raiders into this point, but I'm at a point where it's just like, go ahead and trade Max Crosby, man, and tank. You know what I mean? I think there are a lot of great quarterbacks next year that we could potentially could get, and get a couple first round picks, trade. Imagine Max Crosby on that Commanders team, helping that defensive line out, because
hmm
I think I said, I apologize for bringing this back to the Raiders, but it's a conversation that this Raiders organization needs to look into, because this team ain't going to go anywhere until they get a quarterback. You're not even going to
hmm
get the coach that you want until you get a quarterback, and that's been proven. So, um, you know, I think there's a lot of avenues that the Commanders can look into, and I think they do have a pretty decent amount of cap space that's available to them next year. So, it should be interesting.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, man, let's talk a little boxing, man. I don't know if you had the
Yeah, yeah.
card in front of you for the
Let
October.
me pull it up real quick. Um, so pretty much Turk, he's he's been making a lot of splash moves. You know what I mean? Obviously, big one is obviously the Canelo Spence fight that, I did hear it's going to be in Las Vegas. So that's great news for me because I'm excited about that. But he's trying to make a big card, man. If everything goes right in October, he wants to have a card where it will feature Garcia versus Haney 2 and Tiafimo versus Boots. If he's able to make this card, I think he definitely solidified his reasoning of getting a Hall of Fame uh, induction within 6 months. You know what I mean, of him being a rival into the boxing world. But how excited would you be? Obviously, the only thing that would suck, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be on the states. It wouldn't be on our soil. It would probably be in the Middle East. But overall, what would your thoughts be if he's able to create this card?
That would be a good card, man. I think all fighters involved would need these fights. Devin Haney, if he goes in there and beats Ryan Garcia handily, and doesn't make the same mistakes he made in the first fight, that will boost her back up his allure as a fighter. You know what I'm saying? People will look at him back at how they used to look at Devin Haney. Even though that some people thought he lost to Lomachenko, us included, but there are people who think he beat Lomachenko. So um, it'll definitely do him some good. And as far as Tiafimo and Boots, they both need each other.
Yeah, yeah,
They both need a good fight under their belt. And if Boots goes in there and beats Tiafimo, people will look at him differently. You know what I'm saying? It'll get people back on the hype train for Boots, and he could, potentially get some bigger fights. You know what I'm saying? And be more box office. So I think it'd be a good card. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think it'd be good, depending on what they're adding. And then I'm hearing, Ryan Garcia is supposed to be fighting Isaac Cruz.
I heard about that.
Um, yeah, so that's going to be interesting. Um, there's another fight that they was announcing. I forgot.
I know. I heard some things about maybe possible them doing the Wilder Joshua fight or something like
Yeah,
that. I
I
heard
heard
that.
that.
Um, he was also talking about maybe Inoue versus I forgot his name. He's like a European fighter or something, or
I know who
Irish
you're
fighter
talking
or
about.
something like that.
I
He,
saw it.
he was talking about that.
Yeah.
He's really trying to just play, fight night round four at this point, just creating all these boxing matchups. And then obviously he's also even talked about the new boxing league that would be overran by Dana White. He's also had conversations, and he seems like he's trying to push that through as well, getting all the sanctioning bodies to be a part of that and having everything under one league, which I think will be really, really interesting if that were to happen. Now, how the money aspect would go, we all look. I love Dana White and I love what he's done with the UFC, but he is notoriously known for not paying his fighters in the
Well, I
proper way.
think that's what the Turk. I think Turk will step in as far as the
I
finances.
would assume that would be the case. I would assume, but you can't. It's just something you have to talk about if you're going to have Dana
Mhm.
White overseeing it. Now, if you got Dana over White, Dana just pretty much negotiating the contract, so it's pretty much there's no promoters. It's just Dana White. He's going to be like, look, y'all two are fighting, and there's no ands if or buts about it. Like we'll get the contract signed, and that's it. I think that could be a great thing because you can't make like a lot of these boxers can't make excuses anymore for not having big fights. You know what I mean? Like we will literally start solidifying, you know what I mean, who is the best of the best. And then obviously, if they're gonna go this route, obviously you would definitely have to shrink in the amount of belts that are out there. You pretty much just gonna have to have one in each weight class, I think. And then you can, and if you want to kind of do something similar with the baddest motherfucker belt, you can do something like that too. But I think if everything goes according to plan, it could be a really good thing for boxing. I know boxing is kind of like in this weird space right now with television. What I mean, ESPN's rights for Top Rank, I think they expire here later this year, and then they potentially everybody could be on DAZN. I don't know how that would affect it, but taking boxing off of cable network TV, I think isn't really good for the sport. I think it's really bad. And obviously, man, where's Max Kellerman at, brother? I need Max Kellerman. He was a great light for this boxing world. You know, what I mean, he was kind of like kind of like the lightning rod for it, as far as like, bringing the information out. Like the knowledge that Max Kellerman has in the boxing world, I think would help as well. But back to this, he also did say that the winners of those two fights would face off, and then the
Mhm.
losers of those two fights would also face off. So if he were potentially to make this card, who would you have favored in both of those fights?
Um, uh, You know what? I know we talk trash about him, and I know we're not the biggest fan, but I'm gonna go with Devin. I think Devin Haney would fight a smarter fight.
Hmm.
I think he would learn from his mistake, and I don't think he would standing right there trying to get hit by that right hand by Ryan Garcia. So I got Haney by decision, of course. I think he was just out because he was. I mean, for most of the fight, he was outboxing Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia was just taking his punches, and then he would catch him with that right hand, and it was just I don't know what his father was doing, coaching him up. So
Hmm.
I got Haney by decision, and then in the other fight, I'm gonna go with Boots. I think Boots is just more disciplined. I know he gets hit, but I think he's a little bit more disciplined than Tiafimo, and I think he'll be more locked in as far as this fight goes. Even though we've seen Tiafimo when he fights big fights, he gets locked in too. But I just think that I think he's a more skillful fighter than Tiafimo, and I think he'll cut off the ring on Tiafimo, and I think he would outbox him. I wouldn't be surprised if Tiafimo might go down too, like in the eighth, ninth round. So
I personally, I don't know. For some reason, I think I still would go with Garcia over Haney. I know Haney would probably play a little bit more disciplined, but we saw that his chin is not the best. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Like he has to be active in that fight, and he can't literally just just box. Like Ryan Garcia is going to bring the fight to him. And so I would slightly favor Garcia in that. And I agree with you on the Boots fight. I would have Boots winning. I think you would get the best of Tiafimo in this fight, but I
mhm.
think the length of his reach, I think is just better. I think his power is probably better. I think it'll be a close fight. I wouldn't be surprised if it was either late stoppage or a decision. But I think both of those fights would be really exciting fights. You know, what I mean, you'll see some elite boxing in both aspects for sure. Hopefully we get it. I'm really excited. Hopefully we get it. You know what I mean? We're 2 weeks away from one of our most anticipated fights of the year with Benavidez and Morale. I'm letting you
Mhm.
know, my brother, I'm not working that Saturday, so I'm taking that shit off. So uh, figure out where to watch the fucking fight at. But overall, man, I'm excited. I'm excited.
I will be at work, but hell, the fight don't start till 6 o'clock anyway, so it's
Yeah,
all
I'm not
good.
tempting it because I don't know if they're changing our schedules because football's over. So
Oh, they doing it like that.
now, if they don't change our schedules, then I'll probably work. But if it's like, you guys are back to 1 o'clock, my black ass will not be there.
That's crazy. You excited for Canelo and Crawford? They already talking trash with each other.
I'm super excited for Crawford and Canelo. I'm sad. I'm curious to see how that card lays out because that's going to be a really it's probably going to be one of the biggest fights since probably Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. I'm not counting the Conor McGregor fight. I think that was just a glorified exhibition, but just a real boxing fight. I think this is going to be the most anticipated one since Pacquiao and Mayweather. I'm super
I put
excited for this.
Crawford and Spence up there.
Crawford and Spence too. Yeah, I agree. I agree. My apologies. My apologies. Yeah, Crawford and Spence. Yes, for sure.
Mhm.
It's definitely up there. It's going to be on a global aspect. I don't think Crawford and Spence were as global aspect
No,
as
they
what I
weren't.
think it was just more of like, I mean, people who love the sport. But this is will be global. Like Canelo's a global name. I think Terrence Crawford is pretty much a global name ever since the whole Errol Spence thing too. Um, it's gonna be amazing. I expect this shit to be at Allegiant. I would be surprised if this is at T-Mobile. I would be surprised if this isn't like a big Mecca WrestleMania style like event as far as like just the stars being out for this fight. Obviously, it's gonna take place Mexican Independence Day, so I'm excited. I'm curious to see if both of these guys take tune-up fights. I would assume they both would.
Well,
Just to
that's
stay.
the word is that Terrence Crawford could be taking a tune-up fight against. I think his name is it's leaving my head. Sergi. Forgot his name.
Abram, like, I think I seen the name or something. Yeah.
He faced Triple G. He almost beat Triple G. Um, but yeah, at 168, he's supposed to fight him. And I forgot who they said Canelo's supposed to be fighting. I think it's some black dude. It's a black guy. I forgot his name.
Well, either way, the Turk is going to pay them very, very well to take a
Yeah.
dive because none of these, they're not losing those fights, bro. He wants this fight, so
Hmm.
I'm excited. I'm super excited. Obviously, it's a whiles away, so I got to temper my excitement for it. But
Hmm.
again, I said I I still have to see them on stage at a press conference staring each other down before I truly, truly believe that this fight is going to take place. I do think it's going to take place, but you know me, like
Yeah.
boxing, things can change in the quickness. So I got to see these motherfuckers facing off, talking shit in Vegas or LA in a press conference or something. Man.
How do you feel about the Fedora Spence fights falling through?
Disappointed. Very disappointed. I was really looking forward to seeing Errol Spence bounce back, but I think it's becoming more and more likely that I don't think Errol Spence is ever fighting again. Me personally, I think
Yeah.
it's been too long since the Terrence Crawford fight. Yeah, he took a massive beating. I'm not sure the reasons behind why the fight. I don't know. Maybe you might know, but I'm
I
not sure why the
don't know.
reasons of the fight not taking place. But it's truly disappointing. And if you're an Errol Spence fan, I know you're hurting. I know you're hurting. I see Ray Jackson on there, kind of taking all his hurt out on Terrence Crawford right now. So look, I was just as excited to see Spence because me and you both want to see him succeed and bounce back. But I think it's over. I think it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right, man. Let's recap the NFL division around playoffs, brother.
Yeah, let's do it.
Pull this up. Drop this down. So right there. Grab this. Boom. 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 Let me go back. All right. All right, man. Let's start. Saturday we had the Texans, Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs win 23-14. Look, I know my partner over here. He loves to talk about how the referees love us. But I'm gonna use you as an extension of being a Texans fan today, since you didn't put your Raider Nation down for a little bit. You're a Texans fan right now, and I need you to relay a message to the Texans fans out there. Can you do that for me?
Sure, sure.
I'm sorry, Texans fans, that you let your quarterback, the referees let your quarterback get sacked 8 times. I'm sorry, Texas fan, that your kicker missed 2 kicks that could have potentially changed the game,
Yeah.
especially one of them that could have tied the game up.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And this is the big one right here, that you forgot Travis Kelsey existed.
For some reason, that happens every time this year with every single team. I wonder why.
But I'm just curious. Like after the first big run, you think you would have double teamed him. I'm sorry. Am I wrong, Mo?
No, you're not wrong, but you're not telling the whole story though. That's the problem with Chiefs fans. You
No,
guys.
I look, I get it. The calls, the two
Hold on,
calls, yes.
hold on. You guys like to pick and choose, and I get it. You guys are rooting for your team. At the end of the day, you guys won, so it really don't matter what anybody says, what happened with the referees or anything like that. Look, as I said before, like, are there going to be calls that don't go the Chiefs' way? Yeah, there are sometimes. But at the end of the day, it becomes a point where it's just like there are certain aspects of the game where calls hurt more than others do. And I'm sure you guys aren't dumb fans. Like y'all got to stop acting like y'all dumb fans. Y'all don't recognize that there like a holding call in the first quarter don't mean the same as a holding call in the fourth quarter or when momentum is changing. You know what I mean? And it so happens every single time when momentum is getting taken away from the Chiefs, there's a phantom call or some bullshit call that comes out of nowhere that kind of either kills momentum or extends momentum for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that's been the main problem with this game. Now, overall, did the Chiefs win this game? Yeah, they won this game. Did Texans make some idiotic things? Yeah. Did their offensive line not play good? Yeah, they haven't played good all year. Um, But there are, and then I'm not even going to get started on the kicker. I'm surprised he's still on the fucking team. I don't know how you missed at that extra point that could have tied the game, but I think that kind of killed momentum in this right as well. So look, man, I'm not going to sit here and deny that y'all didn't win fair and square, but there are certain things where I think it's becoming more prevalent where Chiefs do get favoritism. Like, I'm sorry, that was not a personal foul on Patrick Mahomes. He didn't even get hit. The Texans players hit each other, and if any Chiefs fans wants to come on here and say, "Oh no, Mahomes," come on, man, we got to stop this. Mahomes flopping and shit. Like, come on, what are we doing? What are we doing? I just saw a play where who was it yesterday that got fucking taken out? It was Lamar Jackson. He got taken out like 5 yards out of bounds, and nothing got called. If that was Patrick Mahomes, come on, man. We know that have been 15 yards in ejection. Like,
I agree. I thought that was unnecessary.
So again, and then again, it comes with you guys being great. No one's denying y'all not being great, but it's becoming clear as day that you guys are getting favorited in a lot of calls when it comes to the momentum side of the game. And that's what people are complaining about, because the inconsistencies of said fouls doesn't get called the same amount of value as you guys do. Yeah, okay. Let's say you both teams got called 8 penalties. Both teams got called. Yeah, you look at it and be like, oh, it's equal, it's fair. No, when you really watch the game, certain penalties on y'all aren't the same as when other teams are momentum is going their way. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. But congratulations, you guys played the Bills, and I'm sure it'll be the same way. Who's the referee for your game this week?
We don't know yet.
Nah. I could have swore I saw something, but at the end of the day, you guys look.
It's not Carl Sheffers.
I even said like, if y'all gonna lose, it's gonna be in this gonna be this week. Now, if it happens, it happens. Like, but what if it's gonna be any team that beats y'all? It has to be the Bills, because I think the stories just align that. You know what I mean? You had the excellent game that we saw. What was that, like 3 years ago, when you guys came back 15 seconds down, which is still insanity. That's like one of the greatest shits I've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie, but. What was that, 3 years ago that happened?
Yeah, I think it was 3 years ago. 13 seconds, yeah, because that was the year we lost to the Bengals. So
yeah, that was. I think that's still the greatest game of all time. I don't care what anybody says. Even as a Raider fan, that's like one of the greatest games of all time. At least in my history of watching football.
No, it's definitely up there. Yeah.
It's up there. Come on, man.
Especially in the playoffs, yeah, because I was thinking of the Rams Chiefs game. But no.
But the impact, just the highs and lows of that game. It was like y'all thought y'all was like, oh, it's over.
No, I thought when Josh Allen scored that touchdown with Gabe Davis, I was like, this might be Buffalo's year. I didn't start getting optimistic until they kicked the field goal and Tyreek Hill ran that play, and I was like, I don't know, people. We might be able to get a field goal.
Yeah, not for real. And then I agree with Mark. Yeah, that was crazy though. Like, the Texans pretty much outrushed the Chiefs.
They did,
like by three times of the amount. Mm-hmm. That's something crazy. So I know we'll talk. No, go ahead.
But here's my thing, dog. Like, there was, yes, I agree with the penalty where Mahomes slid. It's like, what do you want the defenders to do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys want them to just be like, oh, let him slide. Like, whatever. Like, he was moving around like a running back. he was behind the offensive lineman. So I get everybody's gripe with that. Valid. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even disclaiming that. But like I said, 4th and 10. You going for it. It's like 10 minutes left in the game, Mark. And you're going for it on 4th and 10. And not only are you going for it on 4th and 10, you see the play clock going down. It's winding down. And it's going into the 4th quarter. Why don't you just go into the 4th quarter, regroup, get a good play? If you're going to go from 4th to 10, you might want to get your best play. You just said bump it, rushed it, and you let George Karlaftis on Dalton Schultz. Of all people, that's the person you got blocking a defensive end.
Yeah,
like, you deserve to lose that game, bro. Like,
I get you. As I said, I'm personally not taking anything away from y'all. I just understand the gripe with the refs. That's all I'm saying. But at the end of the day, y'all won the game. Like, Texans didn't do anything to, and then obviously you just kind of saw, them not having the weapons that really did hurt. And one of the things got to do on in the off season, they got to shore up that offensive line. The offensive line was horrendous. It was
It
really
was.
tremendous. So I was surprised Mixon was able to get the yards that he was
I
able to
was
get. You
too.
know what I mean? So and on a bum ankle because he hurt his ankle in the middle of the week.
Mhm.
So that was impressive. But overall, man, like
And look, shout out to CJ Stroud, man. Dude was making plays. He was out there battling for his team, man. He played great. He really did. He really did. He went out there and he showed why he's one of the better young quarterbacks in this league. There should be no question about CJ Stroud.
nah,
So,
I never understood why people question CJ Stroud. We all knew the inconsistencies of this team, man. They'll be fine. They'll be better. Hopefully,
yeah,
they can find some solidified pieces to help him on the offensive side. But that
yeah.
defense played really good. That defense,
No, they did. Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter are the real deal.
real deal.
And
Yeah,
Autry. And the Chiefs, they played it smart. They was like, look, we ain't going after these corners. Look,
yeah,
that Stingley and Lassner, them two young corners is the real deal. We're gonna attack these linebackers and these safeties.
yeah,
With Travis Kelsey. You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all want to cover the speedsters? Fine. Do what you gotta do. We're gonna attack the middle of the field. And that's what they did. So
yeah.
all right, man. Let's talk about the night game. Commanders beat. And when I say beat, that's not even a word. They beat down the Lions 45-31. Jared Goff had 5 turnovers. 5. We had like 4 interceptions. Yeah, 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
I think 4 interceptions and a fumble. It was not good for the Lions, man. And the Commanders, they just scored whenever they wanted. The deficiencies on the defensive side of the Lions, it bit them in the ass in this game. And on top of that, you're gonna let Jared Goff turn the football over for 5 times. That's not good. That's not a recipe for winning. Everybody thought that the Commanders had no chance of winning this game, but the Commanders, Jaden Daniels is the real deal. This kid has ice in his veins. There's no moment that's big for this kid. He just goes out there and plays football. And this team showed up. You could tell they rally around this kid. Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz, the elder statesmen of this team, Austin Eckler, Brian Thomas Jr. had a really good game. Like Dommy Brown is showing up in the playoffs. Like this team is really good. And then the defense making enough plays when they need to make them to keep this team in the game. And hey, man, it was just, shout out to the Commanders, man. This turnaround, we talked about it a little bit, but this turnaround that Magic Johnson, I think his name is Josh Harris, the other owner, the
Mhm.
main owner, they have a good recipe for success. The Harris stays out of the way. He lets the football people make the football moves, and Magic is kind of just like the face because he knows how to run business. So shout out to the Commanders, man. And as far as the Lions go, it's tough. It's disappointing because everybody thought the Lions was going to the Super Bowl, me included. But they just had too many. They had too many injuries that just bit him in the ass. And then, like I said, Jared Goff having one of his worst games of the season it just came at the worst opportune time. So shout out to the Commanders and Lions. Y'all got to regroup, and we'll see how you guys look without Ben Johnson and potentially Aaron Glenn. So
Yeah, honestly, there's really no amount of words you can say about Jaden Daniels' performance, man. He's really turning into something even more than special. Like he's turning into greatness. And I get it's only been 1 year, but it's really impressive what he's done with this team. As I said, we talked about it earlier. It's going into Tampa Bay, going into Detroit, #1 seed. And then now you're going into an environment that you're familiar with. We know Philly's a hostile environment, but Commanders have a real shot of winning that game. You know what I mean? As far as like the Lions go, I think the key play that really messed them up was when they had 12 men on the field when it was like a 4th and 2, when they had a chance to get that stop. I think that could have really changed momentum for this team. But for them having the 12 men on that field, that kind of killed it, and we all knew that was going to be a touchdown. It never looked back after that. And then obviously, I think that play call was a little. I get it, you were trying to reach for stuff, but that little flip around to Jamison Williams and having Jamison Williams throw the ball, and for Jamison Williams, you kind of saw I say this respectfully, just the idiotic mentality of certain things that he did on that field. He was lucky they didn't get flagged for that celebration that he did.
Yeah, for real. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't get flagged for that.
He definitely getting fined.
Yeah, and then for him not just understanding, like, maybe the best throw is to throw it out of bounds. Like,
Yeah.
like all that's situational. And he showed that he he wasn't ready for that moment. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
he's a great athlete, but he has a lot to learn. As far as Jared Goff, it's tough. It's tough, man. You had one of your worst games. There was a lot of expectations for this Lions team. We kind of expect them to still be good, just based on the talent that they have. You're going to get healthy again, but with free agency, your OC now gone, your DC potentially going to be gone. You're going to have to implement some new OCs into that. Um, and then the division is just going to get tougher, man. We all
Yeah.
expect the Bears to be better. We got to see what happens with the quarterback situation with the Vikings. Obviously, we all expect the Packers to be better. I expect them to get another weapon that helps out. Maybe Devontae Adams goes there, and then that could change the whole light. Devontae Adams with Josh Jacobs would be an amazing 1-2 tandem for that team. So
Mhm.
I know people were kind of saying like and then now you got Ben Johnson, who's going to be very familiar with your organization and your players. So um, that's going to be another thing that has to be looked at as well. So it's only going to get tougher. I know people are kind of having these conversations now. Is the window closed for the Lions? I don't know. I got to see next year. I think next year is going to kind of tell me a lot about this team, whether their window to win a Super Bowl is done or not. I can't really say that right now, but it's going to be interesting next year.
Yeah, we're gonna really see how good of a head coach Dan Campbell is. You know what I'm saying? When he loses coordinators, can you still keep your team afloat? Because that's what makes a great coach. Is a head coach is when you lose coordinators, can you keep your team flowing? Can you adjust? You know what I'm saying? Because the next coordinator is not going to call plays like Ben Johnson. He may have been the understudy under Ben Johnson, but he's not going to call plays like Ben Johnson. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Sunday. We had the Rams traveling to the Eagles. The Eagles won 28-22. This was it was a tight nip back and forth. The elements had a lot to do with it. It was snowing. But shout out to the Rams. They played a good game, man, and they had an opportunity to win this game. They got down to the I think it was like the 12-yard line. But they just could not convert in that red zone at the last play. Saquon was amazing in this game.
Mm-hmm.
205 yards and 2 touchdowns. Puka Nakua had a really good game. Matthew Stafford was balling too, but just right when they needed it, they couldn't convert in the red zone. That defensive line got after Matthew Stafford. Jalen Carter is a man on fire. He's the next Aaron Aaron Donald type player. Um, and this kid he wrecked the game. You know what I'm saying? On was it third down uh, to get that sack, and then I don't know what happened on the last play. Matthew Stafford just he threw a kind of a duck out of bounds, and that was the end of the game, man. And shout out to the Eagles. Jalen Hurts didn't have to really do much, but when you got Saquon running for 205 yards, you really don't have to do much. And their defense playing, pretty solid. Um, and the Eagles advance, and they're going to the NFC Championship game again. And the Rams going to have to, regroup. The defensive line, Jared Verse is a beast. I think missing Fisk,
Yeah, that hurt.
got hurt
And they still
when he get.
they still
Yeah,
play.
yeah. They did. The defensive line still stepped up, and Verse had a really good game. But I think losing Fisk in the middle, it hurt them in the run game too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it really hurt them losing Fisk. So, but shout out to the Rams. They had a really awesome season, and it'd be interesting to see where they go going forward. I'm sure they're gonna have to pay Puka Nakua, and we'll see what happens with Cooper Cup. Is he brought back? Or do they go a different direction? Do they bring back Robinson, who had a good game too? But they got a nice young defense. They just need to continue to build on this young defense. But Eagles are advancing and well deserved.
Yeah, nah. Verse definitely backed his words up, even though with a loss, man. He popped out of my screen a lot of plays,
Yeah.
man. He was probably the best defensive player minus Jalen Carter on a couple plays, but he was amazing. Saquon Barkley, best running back in the league. He was pretty much the main reason why they won.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this though: if there was no snow and that was clear weather, I think the Rams win this game. I don't even think it's close.
I agree.
So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Jalen Hurts' knee responds going into this conference championship weekend. I think that should be big news all week. as far as the Rams go, they got to hold their heads up high. Especially everything that's been going on in LA. Again, our thoughts and prayers with everybody who's dealing with the fires and having to, I can only imagine,
Yeah,
what I have to deal with at this particular time. But at this point with the Rams, it's kind of like, you saw the report with Matthew Stafford. He's going to take a long, hard consideration of whether what he wants to do with his career. I expect him to play next year. I know it's going to be kind of with him like a year-to-year basis with him, especially
mhm.
we know his body isn't doesn't really hold up well. His ribs got hurt
Yeah,
yesterday, so we know how his body kind of responds to the seasons. Man, he gets beat up pretty bad. So
he does.
I think Matthew Stafford's pretty much on a year-to-year thing as far as like seeing how this Rams team goes. But you got a lot of young, great pieces on this team. You got the draft, you got free agency coming up. I'm not sure what their cap space is, but this Rams team could be really good. I think they could be one of the favorites, especially in that division, because we don't have no idea
Hmm.
what's going to happen with the Cardinals or
Hmm.
the Niners, especially. They got a lot of questions on that side, so they could easily be one of the best teams, and if not the best team in that division, if Matthew Stafford would come back and they add a couple more pieces to that team. So
Hmm.
we all know Sean McVay is one of the best head coaches.
Of
So
course.
with the Eagles, man, they got lucky. They got lucky. If it wasn't for Saquon, they would be home by now. They probably wouldn't
Yeah.
have made the playoffs without Saquon low key, but
No, they
they're gonna
wouldn't.
have to figure out that passing attack, man. If they can't get that passing attack going, I think it's gonna be tough for them to beat the Commanders, dog. I really do.
They better hope the elements come in again.
Yeah, you better hope snow comes into fact. But even then, though, I like Brian Robinson.
I
Also,
do too.
has been playing amazing football.
Yes.
And then obviously we don't know how Jaden Daniels would respond to cold weather. I haven't personally seen him play in snow like that.
Hmm.
But if it's a clear day, Jaden Daniels is gonna have a field day. I don't care how good this defense is. Like you know what I mean. Like Jaden Daniels is gonna cook, and we saw him. You know what I mean? Do even the first week when they lost, he didn't play a bad game. You know what I mean? Like they were in that game for the majority of the part until the fourth quarter, and then we saw in the second game where they played in Washington, man, we saw the performance that he had 5 TDs in that game. So I don't think he's really worried about that defense now. Jalen Carter and Saquon Barkley are the two keys for the Philadelphia Eagles. If those two guys perform the way that they did this past week, I think Eagles have a really good shot. But they need to get AJ Brown and Devontae Smith involved.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, man. Let's talk about the last game. Buffalo Bills hosted the Ravens, beating them 27-25. Look, man, we talk about Lamar Jackson, and me and Mal talked about this on the show. We feel like Lamar Jackson is great. He's a top 5 quarterback in this league. But we're always having our questions. What will Lamar Jackson do in the playoffs? And in that first half, he didn't have a good first half. I don't know. And maybe, Maul, you can explain this to me. But I don't know what he was looking at on that interception that he threw down the field.
Yeah, I think it was
Hey,
more of there. I think
Bateman,
it looked
Bateman
it looked like he was anticipating him to come out, and then that blitz by Johnson kind of messed up the timing. But it was a bad throw.
that was a bad throw. And then the fumble, man, you botch a snap, you get down, man. Just get down. Get down on the ground, man, and fight for another down, because that fumble hurt y'all. Von Miller returns it back. They score off of that. They scored 10 points off their bad plays. And then Mark Andrews, he dropped the pass. And then you guys got away. And then in the third quarter, you get the run game going. Derrick Henry gets going. You score on that drive. Personally, Maul, I would have kicked the field goal. I wouldn't have went for 2.
I agree with you.
Because if you kick the field goal there and then you score on that last drive, you don't even have to worry about Mark Andrews catching the 2-point conversion, because you tied the game up with just an extra point.
Yeah.
And I just think that I think they got a little bit too aggressive there. Like, just kick the field goal, man, and you'll be down what? You've been down 1 point.
Or give the ball to Derrick Henry, which y'all didn't give him the ball enough. Which that
Y'all
again,
they went away from it. They went away from it, and I don't know. I don't know what it is about the Ravens when it comes to the playoffs. They get away from who they are.
It's a hardball.
I don't get it.
It's hardball. There's no answers about that's a hardball thing, man. That's coaching. Because I'm sorry to cut you off, but this Ravens team pisses me off because I get it. Lamar Jackson had a bad interception and a bad fumble, but he played really, really well. He's the main reason why they were able to get that game. And we haven't even got to Mark Andrews yet, which I'm gonna get to in a little bit. Like, he has a lot to hold on his plate as well. But for them to just get away from Derrick Henry is annoying. I don't understand. The moment they are down, they decide to not give Derrick Henry the ball. And it's not like you're down by 20. You're only down by like 7 points. Even 10 points is still okay. Like, you were able to run against this Bills defense, especially in the second half, anytime you wanted. Derrick Henry was probably averaging over 8 yards a carry, I swear. It looked like. So, and then on top of that, you keep doing these goal line situations. Why are you not giving him the ball? Your big lineup, when you had 2 tight ends and your offensive line and you put Derrick Henry back there, was winning on every single play. It didn't get 1 negative yard. You were probably getting no less than 4 yards a carry on those type of plays. So you can't get it from the 2 to the end zone with Derrick Henry and with that big lineup. You guys were way bigger than that defensive line. Like, this is a Harbaugh question when people got to start asking, is it time for, look, I get Harbaugh is a great coach, but it gets to a point in time where Harbaugh is defeating himself. And it gets to a point where it's just like, maybe it might be time to maybe take another look at this situation. I know they won't do it, but this needs to be a Harbaugh question, not a Lamar Jackson question. This is a Harbaugh question for me.
Yeah, man, but I hear you. But still, Lamar Jackson, yes, he had a horrible first half, and yes, he brought them back to tie the game up. He really did. And Mark Andrews, you got to make that catch. Mark Andrews, I don't know what you were doing when you caught that one pass and you backed up to go forward and you fumbled the football. Just catch the ball and go down, man.
Yeah.
That comes from trying to do too much. And when you do too much, you lose football games. And you just can't do that, man. And it's not just Lamar Jackson. It's the team as a whole. They get tight. They make mistakes that they don't usually make in the regular season. And they just look like a totally different team. And I just feel like the pressure just gets to them.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me a game where Josh Allen throws for 127 yards and no touchdowns? You would take that in. If I said, hey, I just looked into the future, Josh Allen threw for 127 yards, what would you have told me?
Ravens would win.
By a lot.
Yeah.
You'd have got smoked. But no. Now, James Cook had a really good game. He ran the football really well. And the other running backs. But I just don't get it with this Ravens team, man. They switch up when the pressure gets on.
That's the coaching staff, man. I'm gonna stick to that. I don't think this is a Lamar Jackson problem. I think this is a coaching problem. But hey, even with all that said, they still had a chance to tie this game and take it into overtime. They still had a chance to do that.
Now we don't know. It would have been like a minute and 47 seconds.
We don't know, but at least you tied. At least you tied. And that defense was playing good enough to the point where it's just like they could have probably got to stop. But Mark Andrews, we got to get on Mark Andrews. My boy. What are you doing? I get it on the first fumble play. You're trying to get yards, but we knew that wasn't the correct thing. But that you dropping that pass was not good, my brother. That was one of the worst things I've seen, man. I'm sorry, but you got to say it. Mark Andrews cost this team was one of the bigger reasons why this team got cost of going to the AFC Championship game. Because let's be real, this Ravens team was the better team. It was. Yeah. On paper, it was the better team. Look wise, it was the better team, especially in the second half. Especially in the second quarter, second half. This was the better team. So I don't know what this means going into the Chiefs game for the Bills. Like, obviously, you're always going to have a chance with Josh Allen. Josh Allen didn't really have a good game. But Josh Allen is lucky those Ravens defensive line players held his arms down because he was about to make the dumbest play in history because he was thinking about throwing that ball back to James Cook. I saw that shit as clear as day. Hey, he better send whatever defensive line held his arm, he better send him a fucking Ford truck or something because he's one of the also reasons why y'all didn't lose this game because that was going to be a terrible look as well. But Mark Andrews I hate to say it, but Mark Andrews needs to be embarrassed of himself. For that performance. That was one of the more embarrassing performances by Mark Andrews, and I say that respectfully because I know he's a great tight end, but it gets to a point where it's just like You guys keep defeating yourselves at this point. So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, man. They definitely are going to have to regroup in the off season and figure out themselves and figure out why they keep running into this problem. Um, with the coaching staff, with John Harbaugh, he's gonna have to look at himself in the mirror and see what he needs to do what he needs to do to get this
They miss Zay
team
Flowers.
ready.
They miss Zay Flowers too. They miss
That
Zay.
too. Oh, definitely. They definitely miss Zay because Zay's their biggest playmaker.
Yeah, he is. What do you make
And
of the rumors of potentially them getting Tyreek Hill? There's been a couple more rumors about them potentially maybe going after Tyreek Hill in the trade.
I mean, if they do it, that's a good look for them.
You
They
need you
need
think that's what they need? You think they need another receiver, or do they think you think they need something
they
else?
need a consistent playmaker. They need that guy. Like I like Zay. I think Zay is a good player, but he's not Tyreek Hill.
No, he's not.
Tyreek Hill is one of those guys that if I need a play, he could take it to the house at any moment. And if
Yeah.
you match that up with him and Derrick Henry, now it's hard to really defend that.
Hmm.
And now you got two speedsters with him and Zay Flowers.
Hmm.
Now I do think that they need another. I like Bateman. I think Bateman like 6 foot, 6'1".
Yeah, he's cool. I don't have a problem with Bateman. I think he's good as
But
long as he.
I do think they need a like a bigger receiver. They need a big guy who could just go up and get it.
I don't know who that be. Like honestly, I wouldn't be mad at a DK Metcalf
That's what I'm saying.
team.
Yeah,
I would probably like that more than a Tyreek Hill because you already got your speedster with Zay.
yeah.
You need a bigger receiver with some really good hands. Um, Devontae Adams, I think Devontae Adams should really look into this spot. As far as
Mhm.
receivers go, I think the Ravens and the Commanders should be the two, and the Packers should be the top three spots for receivers to go to that they need to
Yeah.
look at. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And there's gonna be a lot of receivers out, especially in this free agency or trade market, and even the draft. Man, there's gonna be a lot of great,
Yeah.
really good receivers.
Now, Luther Burden would be perfect for them too if they could get like their hands on Luther Burden with the Ravens. He would fit perfectly in his offense.
No, I agree. I agree.
So, all right, man. Who's your best player for this divisional round? We're just gonna do best player. You ain't gotta do team.
I'm going Saquon. I think Saquon, 205 yards, man. It's self-explanatory at this point. I think he was the best player the whole weekend, minus Jaden Daniels.
Uh, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna go with the old man, Travis Kelsey.
Of course,
You knew where I was going with this, man. You didn't go there. And who's the worst player?
Jared Goff. Jared Goff is worse. But you know what? No, I take that back. It was Jared Goff. It's Mark Andrews. Sorry, my bad. I just totally ripped you. A whole new one. It's Mark Andrews. Sorry.
Well, I'm going with Jared Goff because he was terrible. Five turnovers. You lost him that game, brother.
Yeah.
You lost him that game. So, yeah, I'm going Jared Goff. All right, man. Well, that does it for the divisional round. We don't have to like get into no deep dive. We'll say that for Wednesday. But what are your overall thoughts for the AFC and the NFC championship games?
I think both of these games are going to be really exciting. Commanders, Eagles. Obviously, they're very familiar with each other. I mean, I'm very excited to see how Jaden Daniels handles this NFC Championship experience. Um, Obviously, we got to see how Jalen Hurts' knee responds. Can they get the running game? I mean, the passing game going? Can Saquon Barkley carry this team to the championship? It's pretty much going to be a Jaden Daniels Saquon Barkley matchup from the way it's looking. And
Mm-hmm.
whatever defense can be more opportunistic, that's going to be the team that wins. But I do expect it to be a great game. And as far as your Bills Chiefs game, this is the heavyweight. You know, I mean, it's a heavyweight matchup that a lot of people have been waiting for. Um, I know some people were hoping it was Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes rematch, but we get Josh Allen either way. It's going to be a great game. Um, man, this is like Spence versus Crawford. This is Ali versus Foreman. This is what everybody's been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
Championship, and this is going to say a lot about this Bills team. Like, I think this is the last opportunity for any team to be like, yo, we can compete with this Chiefs team. Like, somebody has to beat this Chiefs team. And what better team to do it than, I guess, the Bills at this point, man? They haven't been to a Super Bowl in a very, very long time. This franchise has been itching for it. You got this immovable object, it seems like, in the Kansas City Chiefs that just seem like they cannot be beat. Like, this seems like Superman is standing right before you, and y'all can't find not one snippet of kryptonite at this. So look, Bills. There's no excuses no more for this Bills team for Josh Allen. I don't want to hear that he doesn't have a squad. He has receivers all across the board with Keon Cole
Mhm,
and Amari Cooper, who he didn't even get a lot of touches yesterday.
mhm,
James Cook in the backfield. I like Ray Davis in the backfield as well. You got Kincaid, you got Knox. Like Josh Allen is healthy. Like everybody's healthy on this team for the most part. You got Rap back on the defensive side. I know he's hurt his shoulder a little bit, but I do expect him to probably try to get out there and play. But for the most part,
mhm.
the defense is healthy. So hey man, it's put up or shut up time for this team. And if you can't beat them now, and I get it, you're going to a hostile environment, but this should be very familiar grounds for you. You had the
Mm.
opportunity to do it again. I think we're going to get another classic. I really do. How it goes, I don't know. Y'all know who I'm rooting for. So, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to say it because anytime I say it, it definitely doesn't go the other way. So, I expect this to be a heavyweight fight, and I expect this to be another all-time classic. I just don't know where it's going to go. I really don't.
Yeah, as far as the Commanders and Eagles go, man, this is going to be a crazy game. All the pressure's on the Eagles.
It is.
I think the Commanders could just come in this game like whatever, man. We weren't supposed to be here in the first place.
Would you be
You know what I'm
shocked if the
saying?
Commanders blew them out?
Huh?
Would you be shocked if the Commanders won by 14 or more?
No,
I feel the
no,
same way.
not even. But it's going to be interesting. You know what I'm saying? Will the clock strike 12 for Jaden Daniels and he looks like a rookie, or will he go out there and continue to look like ice in his veins? You know what I'm saying? I expect him to, but it's going to be interesting. It's a division game. The second matchup, we all know Jalen Hurts got hurt, so we're gonna see. We
Yeah.
we definitely gonna see how this goes. And can this defense of the Commanders, get opportunities like they got against the Lions? So if that's the case, they got a very good chance to win in this game. As far as the Chiefs and Bills, this is the matchup: Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. Bills Chiefs. Like you said, it was either Bills Chiefs, Bills Ravens Chiefs. That's what everybody wanted to see in the AFC Championship. And we got Bills Chiefs. We all know how these matchups have gone the past few times. Last year, if Bass makes the field goal, it's interesting. Does the Chiefs march down the field and win the game? The second match, the other matchup, 13 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thinking, okay, the Bills have got it. And then 13 seconds later, we're going into overtime, and Travis Kelsey is catching the game winning game to go into the AFC Championship game. So this one is for the all. This is to go into the Super Bowl now. And like you said, if Josh Allen wants to um, plant his flag as one, we already think he's top three, top four quarterbacks in this league, depending on what you got. But you definitely get to plant your flag as one of the better ones. You could possibly, and I know my partner probably not agree with this, but you can make a stake of you being over Lamar. Burrow's been here before.
No, I agree. No, if he wins this game, he's over Lamar. He is.
You could put yourself over Lamar
He
because
is.
you've been somewhere that Lamar has never been, and that
That's true.
is the Super Bowl. You know what I'm
And
saying?
being
So
Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. So
yes,
that gets
so
your monkey off your back. Like
yeah,
if he gets this monkey off this back, you don't know where this could take Josh Allen.
and then for of course for the Chiefs, they're chasing greatness. They're chasing three-peat. You know what I'm saying? They're chasing something that never been done before, and so we'll see how they got they've been here before, so they're gonna be locked in. They're gonna give it their best, and they remember what happened earlier in the season. So don't let that shit happen again. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
yeah, I feel you.
so definitely gonna be a good matchup. You know what I'm
Yeah, it should be a
saying?
good weekend for sure.
Yeah, man. All right, buddy. You got anything else?
Nah, man. I went on my rant about my Raiders. Again, if you guys are just tuning in, Ben Johnson accepted the Bears job. If you don't know, um, I'm defeated as a Raiders fan at this point, man. I don't know where we go, bro. Pete Carroll doesn't excite me at all. So he's
I
old
don't.
as dirt.
I don't think y'all get Pete Carroll.
I don't know.
I
I
don't.
don't
Think,
know where we go. I don't know where
I
we go.
don't think what's the name was Pete Carroll. Tom Brady.
I don't know where we go. Maybe Liam Cohen or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure we'll find out here in the next couple days. Or they could possibly, I guess, maybe still get Aaron Glenn. I don't know. I know he was kind of in the running for it, but I expect him to probably either take the Saints job or the Jets job, but no, we'll see.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, man. What's your flowers of the week, man?
So flowers, man. Obviously we're celebrating a great day and a great man in Martin Luther King. So got to get our flowers to that gentleman there. You know what I mean? One of the greatest civil activists of all time, fighting for equal rights, racial rights, equality. You know what I mean? We got here to celebrate this day, man. So we're here for a reason. We have the opportunities for a reason. Obviously, we're still fighting certain causes and stuff like that. You know, this fight isn't, still a long way to go, but for the most part, man, Martin, we all wouldn't be having the opportunities that we would have if it wasn't for gentlemen like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and all that. But today is Martin's Day, and I'm gonna give him his flowers, man. Salute to the heavens above, man. Appreciate everything that you did while you were on God's green earth, man. And we're here to keep fighting your fight, my brother. And appreciate you.
I agree with you, man. I'm right there with you, man. Martin Luther King, he was a big instrument in equal rights for Black folks, minorities, and he represented something that will always be greatly impacted in our culture, and he should be recognized every year, all times, as one of the greatest leaders of all times in American history, not just Black history, but in American history. And I think I'm just glad that he gets appreciated and highlighted like he should. So shout out to everything he done. God bless his family, and yeah, we love you, Dr. Martin Luther King, for everything you've done, brother.
Yep.
All right, man. Who gets your hell no?
Oh, first, Mark, I see your comment. I appreciate you for worrying about my mentals, man. Hopefully something does happen. So I do appreciate you on that sentiment. Even if you are like, enjoying my pain. But my hell no goes to Rob Palinka, LeBron James,
Oh boy.
Anthony Davis, and Jimmy Buss. Look, man, we've fired coaches, we have traded players, but you guys, you four, are the main reason why this Lakers organization is a joke. Um, I'm tired of LeBron James parading like he's doing something on the court and having impact. He does not. I'm tired of Anthony Davis falling on the ground, hitting his funny bone, and going into the locker room for 40 minutes. Tired about that. I'm tired of Rob Palinka not doing a goddamn thing, trading for Dorian Finney-Smith, acting like he's done something, trading away D'Angelo Russell for no, like, it gets to the point. And then Jeannie Buss, like, I don't know what you're doing. I really don't know what you're doing and what you're good for at this point. This organization is a joke, just like my Raiders. You have no sense of what you want to do. You are letting a 40-year-old basketball player control your organization, knowing that we need to get younger and to get better. These two players aren't it. I appreciate them winning the championship in COVID. I really do. This is not to shit on them, but at the end of the day, they are giving us nothing. We are wasting years. And as Laker fans, bro, it gets to a point where it's just like, bro, we see it on the wall. Like, this team is nothing. We're not going to win nothing. No trade is going to help us unless for some reason a miraculous trade will pop up. Like, we get a Giannis, we get an Anthony Edwards, we get a Victor Wembanyama, which that will never happen. So this y'all are disappointing, and it's pathetic at this point.
Uh, yeah, man. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. I'm sorry to hear that. My hell no goes to the lady who went to this couple's house. It's caught on cam. I couldn't find the clip, but it was caught on cam. She went to this couple's house, questioning this black man if he lives in the house. She didn't believe he lived in the house. The couple comes outside. And the woman, she tries to play dumb and act like, oh well, I didn't know, and I wasn't sure. And then I think she went and lied and said that the black man tried to follow her and some other extra stuff. And come to find out, and that's why they put this video out to show that she was pretty much harassing them. So, especially harassing the black man. So, lady, you get hell no all the week. You knew why you were there. You know, the man even said that this neighborhood is a good neighborhood. You should never have to worry about. First of all, you talking about you was worried about your safety, and from your perspective, you're a white woman at night with your kids out. You obviously didn't care too much about your well-being.
Yeah.
And then the question is, man, and if he lives there when he's inside the house, it wasn't like he was just suspiciously just hanging out. He's inside the house, and you're questioning if the man lives there. It took his wife to come outside and say, yes, he lives here. So yeah, you get the hell on, weak lady.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. Bye. You get your goddamn ugly ass on. Oh my.
Can we give TikTok an honorary? Hell no. That wasn't a ban. That was a maintenance call. No, that was just for Trump to act like he saved TikTok. That's what
That's
that
all that
was.
means.
That's all that
The,
was.
the TikTok CEOs even they over there like, no, gotta thank President Trump. I'm like, all right, bro.
You knew what it
Hey,
was when
motherfucker, I was trying to get rid of it.
you knew what it was when the message was sorry, the app is down. President Trump is working hard to bring it back. Oh. I told my lady before this even happened. I said, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Trump gonna be the one to bring it back.
That's all I said. This is a play for getting people to like him. You know what I mean? Start his first day in office because it was funny because you're banning this a day before he's supposed to go into office, and then you unban it the moment he gets into office. Like, come on, man! Like, what are we doing? Like, it's gonna be an interesting 4 years. Let's just say that. Hopefully,
Yeah, yeah. What's the name was making way too much money.
who?
TikTok. It was making too much money for the record labels, and the government was just mad because they weren't making no money off of it.
Hey, you see normal day people making hundreds of thousands of dollars off of TikTok. It's
So,
crazy. It's crazy. You better get used to that. It's gonna be a lot of that.
what's your thoughts on the whole Snoop Dogg Nelly thing?
Um, at the end of the day, they're a grown man. They're gonna do what they want, but at the end of the day, it definitely puts a different light on them. You know what I mean? Like it just shows that everybody has a price. You know, Snoop, said a lot of comments about artists performing for Trump and stuff like that, and now you over here, doing his honorary and induction ceremony or whatever. Nelly doing it, and they telling me about some bullshit about they honor the office and the fuck out of here, bro. Like I ain't gonna call men a sellout, but hey, people all have a price, man. They got paid, so it's no different from when you see rap artists and what I mean, Lil Pump on stage. Which Trump don't care about y'all. He just pays y'all because y'all a face, and he needs y'all to get what he wants. So
No pump, you get hell no the way you talking about Eminem. Oh, he fell off, whatever, because he supported Kamala Harris and all this stuff. Like, bro, you'll be lucky that you never make it to Eminem status. So just get out the way.
look, at this point, man, look, Trump people are gonna promote like at the end of the day, and that's cool. They won. You know what I mean? But I said you better hope you better hope your boy does everything that he promised. That's what I'm gonna say for all of our sakes. Because if he don't, then what do y'all doing? He's literally the same person that you guys hate and you guys despise. But you know, I already have my personal feelings about certain people. Like I just seen people that have more of an open mind. Like if you like for what he hopes that he's gonna do, then cool. You know what I mean? He promises to take taxing away from tips and do this and do that, and cool. You know what I mean? You have fear of borders, even though I don't know why, but cool. You know what I mean? But if he does nothing, then what are y'all gonna say? That's what I'm saying. So I hope President Trump does everything that he promises because let's stay the facts. No matter you like him or not, a lot of the shit that he does says it sounds good. It sounds good, but then you got to worry about Elon Musk. Everybody think he really the true president going on around this motherfucker because he pretty much telling Trump whatever to do, he does it. So, I said it should be interesting 4 years. So, but hopefully, hopefully we get everything that we promised. Hopefully, the economy doesn't hit a strong recession. Hopefully, people can sustain their livelihoods and maybe even better their livelihoods. Hopefully, they can figure out the healthcare situation and stuff like that. Man, there's a lot of more important things than banning TikTok. So, um, we're off to a funny start, but we'll see how it goes, man. I hope for the best, but I only have so much expectations, I guess.
Yeah, you know what? Shout out to Mark because he knows the assignment.
They need to promote my guy. You already know what's up, baby.
You
See,
know,
Mark, man, come on, man. This guy's amazing. Yeah, Magnet. You know what I mean? I need Magnet. Raiders need Magnet. Lakers need Magnet. They all need Magnet because we all are low energy vibes. Magnet, man, it's the ultimate sports drink. Takes your performance to the next level. Uh, that eliminates muscle cramps and fatigue with working out or training. Meet Magnet, the sports drink designed for athletes who refuse to settle for mediocrity. I know you're asking why Magnet. It's power packed electrolytes and rehydrates and restores balance with their scientifically formulated blend with magnesium that fights fatigue and boosts endurance. It has natural ingredients made with real fruit extracts and no artificial colors or flavors because your body deserves the best. It has delicious flavors like mixed fruit and watermelon that keep you revitalized and ready for action. It will boost your performance with essential vitamins and minerals. Magnet fuels your workouts, helping you crush your goals. Join the Magnet movement, whether you're training, competing, or simply staying active and not trying to hurt yourself because your team sucks. Magnet is your go-to refreshment for peak performance. You can order it now on our direct link at drinkmagnet.com. Use promo code Cris and Mal to get $5 off your purchase. Shout out to Magnet. Again, the promo code is Cris and Mal, and you get $5 off, man. So shout out to Magnet, man. They've been rocking with us for a minute, and appreciate y'all.
yeah, for sure. Also, get your Crystal and Mall t-shirt on our website, any of our social media platforms. Go to the Print5 link, click on it, get your t-shirt, $25, 29 with shipping. Also, dropping soon, probably Friday. We got the hoodies in, people. The hoodies are here. They feel good, man. They're comfortable. They're nice and soft.
How much are the
Snug.
hoodies?
About 40.
$40. For
Yeah,
sure.
about 40. But yeah, man, hoodies are coming soon on Friday, man. So be on the lookout. And if you want to donate to the Crystal and Mall podcast, go to our Cash App, Crystal Mall Podcast, and you could donate whatever you feel like you want to donate. We will greatly appreciate it, man. We just, want to show us some love, Whatever streaming platform you use, whether you use Spotify, Apple, Google, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, whatever you use to listen to your podcast, Crystal Mall Podcast available. Also, first time watchers on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that notification button. So when we go live on Mondays at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, jump in the live like Mark. You can talk about these topics and you can give us your opinion on these topics because we want to hear from you. Even if you disagree with us, we want to hear from you. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Whatever social media platform you use, whether it be X, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you use to do your social media on, the Crystal and Mall podcast is available. Follow us at Crystal and Mall. We will follow you back. We're just some regular guys who like to talk about sports and movies and music and other various other things that's going on in this world. Also, if you have critiques or feedback, or if you have a question or topic that you want us to bring up on the show, you can hit us up via email, DMs, or our mentions. If we like said question or topic, we will bring it up on the show. We'll shout you out on the show because we want to show love to those who show love to us. So go ahead and hit us up and follow us. All right, good people. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Enjoy this day, Don Martin Luther King Day. Most of y'all are off today, so I hope you guys got much needed rest. You got a 3-day weekend, so I hope you got whether you went out today or you stayed at home, relax. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And until Wednesday, we are out.